Welcome back here to the Paladins Minor League. My name is Rain Day. This is Gormizer, and we're going to be taking you through the finals now in Europe. We just saw the semis, and we are not able to see Scoobert Doobert today, but Blazing Hussars and Chromaspace put on a show. Blazing Hussars taking a 3-0 victory, and now we'll face off against Scoobert Doobert in the finals to see how they can increase their seeding and put on a show here as they head into the qualification week next week.
And Scoobert Doobert, I have to give them props because they've been here week 1.
Yep.
They were here week 2. Now they're here week 3. This is the first week they've made it into the finals. Every other week they've been stopped at that semifinal area. So this is a good time for them to be able to showcase what they can do, especially against a team like Blazing Hussars.
Well, let's start getting into it, shall we? I'm excited to see these maps and see where they have selected. Warder's Gate, yeah.
Kind of like Warder's Gate.
Kind of like Warder's
But
Gate, except
in the sense
not.
that it's like a map that was more recent than Frog Isle.
In the sense that it's newer than Jaguar Falls.
Yeah.
You know? Hey, think about it, and you might get happy.
There's more similarities. Not than differences. I
Not
was
than
going to say there's more
differences.
similarities than differences, but there's really not. There's probably maybe one, max 2. I mean, they both have capture points.
They do. Both have capture
You have to
points.
push a payload on both of them.
You do.
Team spawn rooms.
People fight on them.
People fight on them. That's at least 4 similarities.
They're in the realm.
They exist.
They exist.
See,
They have,
as long as
they
you get
have
really, really
floors
vague with it,
and
they
walls
are like the same map.
and sky. Yeah. And basically the same place. We're talking about the same place, right? The one with floors and some sky, right?
Well, I don't know if we're going to see Sky in this game. But,
Oh,
you never know.
Hey, you know what? I mean, she's not that bad. She's really not that bad.
I think she actually has a. Like, this is going to be really weird to say. I can already hear people saying I'm wrong, but like, Sky has a place on Brightmarsh for some players, and I feel like it's very specifically Brightmarsh. I don't know why, but this is one of the maps that if you give Sky, I guess because there's a lot of corridors, a lot of places to hide, she can get away pretty easily here,
Right.
and cause a lot of trouble.
I mean, she can. There's no doubt about it. Sky actually can bring the heat. She's got enough damage, and she's just annoying enough to where she could create so much of this kind of strenuous havoc around where she was. Oh my God, Sky! You just you're mad every time she kills you, but that might open up some space for another character to be effective, such as a Pip, such as the way Adam in that Pip was opening things up for Unlimited Power to have some success in that last game.
And thinking about the way this is laid out, Blazing Hussars essentially going from Chromaspace Pip now into a Scoobert Doobert. It's going to be a different style, but they already know how to deal with it. They already have that mindset like fresh for them because it was literally the last game they played, so they might be able to deal with it a little bit better. But again, it's a little different on this map.
Yeah.
Maeve, definitely a little different on this map. Again, not typically picked up in the meta and definitely not usually on this map.
Yeah, no, but I like it. I mean, I enjoy the Maeve here, especially with Andrew Doodle. You do it that well on Serpent Beach. You go ahead, buddy. See how you can perform on Brightmarsh. I'm all about it. As they head to the first map of this set, best of 5 again here in the finals. Again, the finals, relatively speaking, because, of course, this is just qualifying, but it's going to put them in a position to have a better seeding heading into the last week, which is very, very important. Could be the difference. Seeding sometimes changes everything. I
mean, not only changes for your bracket next week, but also helps you out, I want to say. I mean, you're looking at teams that are fighting to be of 4, right? We're cutting it in half. We're going in with 8 for next week, and we're cutting it down to 4 teams coming out for the minor league. You just have to get top 4.
You do.
Is what you kind of have to tell yourself, right? You're like, it doesn't matter if we're number 1 next week. What matters is if we can walk out and be that team that is comfortable and able to say, you know what? We're in the minor league. Like, it doesn't matter for the next 4 weeks. Like, we can up our game once we're in. We just have to get in first.
We got to get in. That's an important thing. That is a very, very important thing.
You don't buy a girl a drink at a club before you're in the club.
There you go. Hey, you got to get in the club first.
That's the only analogy I could think of.
I love it, though, Gore. I love it. And I think the same thing goes here when you're in this stage. You have to take it one step at a time, and that's what Zelda and the rest of the squad of Scoobert Doobert are trying to do. But Andrew Doodle, he's been taking mini steps over the last few years. And on this Maeve, he's going to have not only steps but dashes, prowls, and about 9 lives to work with to get his goal.
Unfortunately, on the side fight, they're not doing too well right now. Nixus on the other side is doing a ton of work finding these shots perfectly. Woo! And this is going to be that Eminent style play. There, you see the reset go down to about 7 seconds from its typical cooldown. But, I mean, we've seen these go down to, I think, 4, maybe even lower, honestly, in the past because of how much damage you can get using this Leon.
I mean, it's making me say, wow, because that's a lot of burst damage right there. I would be feeling the same way if I was Ashe and half my health went down that fast. And this is definitely a prevalent kind of issue here in Paladins. If you face up against an Eminence Leon and she's hitting her shots, you feel so pressured out so early that it's just so difficult to try to battle back. There's really not a lot of strategy you can bring to the table except I gotta push back. I need healing, and that's what Blazing Hussars are unfortunately dealing with right now. 2 minutes on the clock. Push about to continue, and already about halfway through on this short map of Brightmarsh.
And this is one of the maps that we've always talked about in the past. Compared to what you just saw, Splitstone Quarry, at the end of the last set, this is one of the maps where it's easier to find a 4-0. It is a lot shorter of a pathway, although it is a little bit more grueling, I would say, in terms of how much of a gauntlet fight it kind of is. You have to win 1, 2, 3 at the end before you can actually finally fully go through it. You pretty much have to win them all right in a row.
Yeah, and I think if you could find, I mean, what's great is that it's so contested where you walk to the left and you're fighting 2 to 3 people. You go to the right and you're with your team. And I love that kind of contention of Brightmarsh. Can we see more of it? This Grover is just keeping everyone so nice and healthy, and one of his best maps as well. Literally, the point is the radius of his healing, but it's also the fact that he's just such a strong early game healer, and it's such a short map. If you can keep this pressure up, there's not enough time to build up these cauterizes and get kills to contend with what Grover can bring to the table.
So much is also depending on how well we've seen out of Nixus. iRise here is in this perfect area where he can actually find a ton of damage. Does get stunned out into his death, though. Kamikar, Toot Toot holding on to their ults until necessary, and they drop both of them right there. But 54 seconds, they have time to recharge a good chunk of them, and they completely stall out Scoobert Doobert. I was saying 1, 2, 3, a gauntlet of fights to win.
Yep.
That's if you get it from point to finish.
Yeah.
You have to not get reset. Right now, a full reset, you're going to have to deal with way more out of Blazing Hussars than I think you'd want to see.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're dealing with just making the right picks, because the Inara and this Ashe, having used their ultimates, are much more susceptible. They're going to need that healing. You know, if you could pressure the Inara, the healing, the focus is going to be on her. So you could maybe take down a backline, maybe get the Cassie when they're not paying attention. Clearly, Kamikar trying to go into the backline a little bit too aggressively and gets taken down. Doesn't have the ultimate again to buy that 8 seconds. And Toot Toot has just been slowly but surely going down thanks to the pressure of the Ruckus. It's a good heal, but now Toot Toot's down and Kamikar has no way to sustain this. This is looking like a 2-0 core.
And these are brilliant shots coming down from Ruckus as well. Just that positioning. You're on one side of your shield or the other. You can't dodge everybody. You either step to one side where there's 3 members, or you deal with Ruckus, who, depending on the amount of damage he's able to output right there, is about the same as the 3 members on the other side. You're going to have a lot to worry about, and there's no easy decision. There's nowhere to stand that is safe. So Kamikar, as well as Toot Toot, getting taken down pretty much in the perfect order at the perfect times.
And with this initial success, you're gonna see the Grover become even more deadly. That's why when you see these 2-0s, especially on Brightmarsh, a lot of times it's 4-0 because you just have so much going for you. Let's take a look at his loadout, because you already see the early healing that's heading his way. You already see the contribution that Uber Spady is basically given, which is nothing because he's on Catalyst. But the ideas of the Gentle Breeze as well as Verdant Expanse and Perennial, giving him that extra cooldown reduction. But now he's got Chronos 2, which is another 2 seconds in total off of that cooldown reduction. So he's essentially doubled the value in his cards. He's taken a very, very low cooldown and made it even lower. And that is why this is going to be a very difficult fight for Blazing Hussars to really come back into.
I mean, you take that movement speed that you're getting from his loadout, and you essentially just apply it to everybody, and it's on all the time.
All the time.
There's pretty much only maybe, I want to say 2 seconds between heals that they're not going that fast. That's essentially their base move speed now. And you can see that's causing a lot of trouble for Blazing Hussars. They don't know what to do with it. They're getting places just faster than they should be. They're moving out of your aim quicker than you're used to, and that is just one of those things that is part of why Grover is so excellent right now, especially on a map like Brightmarsh.
I mean, I've said it since the beginning of this patch, you know, when you see Grover, you kill Grover. That's #1 priority, and they haven't been able to do it all game. 16 streak. for the man, and a nice Hexafire to zone out and make sure nobody steps foot into this building. But now Toot Toot's Mother's Grace is down, and this is her vulnerable moment. Can you find the Inara before time is running out? Nixus has been winning these fights with Andrew Doodle. Gets some damage onto the point. Very good management of his time. Knows that Andrew Doodle's going to peak soon, but doesn't waste his time when he can't see him. He has the ultimate ready as well. Going for Surrette's potentially. Wants to bait out the Slither. Trust me, he does not want to use it too early, so he uses just the basic attacks. And now Kamiker, man, looking pretty helpless here, but a stun misses, and he still buys about 8 seconds for his team to get back on the point.
Going to be able to stay alive at least for a little bit longer, but unfortunately overtime is ticking. It's 99 to 62, and you need a little bit more coming out of it. We haven't mentioned it a lot, but Maeve just has not been really performing this game, and that's one of those things. Nixus is doing so much work on this Leon, and you're seeing virtually nothing returned from both Maeve and the Cassie on the other side. Blazing Hussars are not finding, I want to say, even half as many kills, at least seemingly, as we're seeing out of just one champion on the side of Scoobert Doobert. So the changeup that they've got, the damage is there. It's just the execution, whether or not they can actually finalize that damage into a kill.
And I mean, that in and out of this map that I mentioned, where you slide to the left, you're seeing every single member. Like, you go past this pillar, you're fighting 5 people. You go here, you're fighting no one, and you're safe. The thing about that is Leon with Manifest Destiny, and we maybe take a look at her loadout because Nixus has been on fire. The way that he's able to get in and out of these fights has been so dynamic that the burst comes through 1200, 14, 1600, and then he's back into safety, and you're like, I can't chase, I can't deal with this. Beautiful ultimate. He's going for the aggression, but there's the Dread Serpent in response from Maldamba. It's going to slow things up for the boys, and Scoobert Doobert happy with that because they just bait out the snake anyway with a whirlwind. CC immunity for Grover, 32% movement speed, and Nixus is back in action, although Andrew Doodle will clean him up for now.
Right now, if you're looking at it, 27th Street here for the Grover, potentially going up to more because they are still on a roll. And this is something, if you played against Grover, you've probably gotten used to seeing. His healing is just insane, and this control is perfect. I mean, it doesn't even matter what the front lines are doing. He's in the perfect area. He's got Blossom's radius increased. He's got the cooldown down and the movement speed up. Everything for his team's going well. And I don't see either one. Like, Rise just now, that's the most damage I've seen him take in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, because Grover died. Grover died. Andrew Doodle finally dove Grover, and I think if you die and you kill Grover, you're even here. I mean, Andrew Doodle should be sacrificing himself every single time to get this kill. It's just so hard, and the reason that we talked about him getting ahead is because those credits to get Cauterize 3, which are so crucial to shutting Grover down, which he does get shut down on Cauterize 3. The problem is, if you don't win the first point, they're 300 credits ahead of you now. And if you don't win the second point, now they're 600 credits ahead of you. You're in a deficit all game. If we take a look at the items, I'm not sure Cauterize 3 has even been picked up on the side of Blazing Hussars. There's not enough time to do it. 9 minutes only have gone by.
And while they look like they have the economy, right now you see Andrew Doodle able to pick it up. There's no time. You can't step into your base to buy this. You can't take that reprieve. You have to be here, but you just lost 2, 3 members, potentially 4 and 5 here as they're looking to push this in.
Yeah, and I think Andrew Doodle, he's got a hope, a prayer. He's living on a dream, more so than Bon Jovi right now, because there is no way that Maeve is stopping 5 people from pushing this. And Scoobert Doobert, they take game number 1 pretty convincingly, and when you see Grover, you kill Grover until he's nerfed.
Until he's nerfed.
Well, he's probably still kill him. It's probably a good idea if he's the healer. You know?
Honestly, with the way things have been going, he has been, again, the most effective. We even actually got to see that in the last set, where it's just like there's no reason his healing and everything is, and a 4-0 should be that high. That's 2 4-0s for Grover today.
Laughed. Do you see the patch? You were on the patch notes.
I was on the patch.
I was watching it. I was watching you, and I was, Garrett was going. We noticed that Grover has been exceeding pretty well, it was a bit of an anomaly of how I'm like, duh. I mean, who didn't know that? Come on now. Come on, G. Don't act like we don't know that. I like how he's giving it to us straight, but I was like, Garrett, come on, man. Let's be real. We all know. We know what's going on with Grover. Let's into the post game here.
We get to actually look at the numbers. How out of tune was he for this one? It's going to be 138,000 healing. Actually, Surrette's kept up and even passed him by not quite a full 100, but nowhere near as much damage behind him as well. About half as much damage on top of that. And in a 4-minute game, even if you're able to keep up in healing, it is going to be the damage, I think, that is making that big difference overall. You got 60, 79, 62, 80 versus 51, 59, 16, 72, and 46. Just not quite enough numbers on the side of Blazing Hussar to kind of keep up with what Scoobert Doobert were putting out.
Yeah, and I mean, it is interesting to see those healing numbers tied because, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily mean that Grover is just going to get 300, 400,000 heal. That's not what makes him so strong, you know. It's a lot of this nuanced stuff that it's hard to find as we take a look at map number 2 in the stats. It's the early pressure. It's the damage, the consistency of the damage. It's the
24% movement
the
speed
self
your team
heal
just always has.
Right? He heals himself as well as somebody else on the same amount of healing. I mean, you know, how does Maldamba heal himself? I mean, you know, throws a gourd down, right? Maybe gets a card
for the best.
I mean, Grover presses Q and he's got a 1,000 heal for himself basically. At that point, Chronos 2 every, I want to say 6 seconds. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So it's pretty, you know, it's substantial. But the thing about Grover is he does significantly fall off late game. So if Blazing Hussars here take the Grover first, but Scoobert Doobert win objective number 1, they get those Cauterized 2s a little earlier. They could still have a win here, a hope, a prayer.
Well, Bomb King finally making it through. I feel like I've seen him on the ban list twice today. We have not actually gotten to see him played, and that's because usually at this level, Bomb King is literally game-changing. One really good Bomb King can make up for 4 champions that are doing nothing on your team. But Grover coming through, like you said, a lot of it is going to be Ken Blazing Hussars, maybe not even 4-0, but 4-1, 4-2. Like, they need to end it as fast as possible. The longer it goes, the worse it gets for them. Bomb King is a really good stopper on that, being able to say, like, you know what, you're not going to 4-0 us. So you're going to 1-1, we're going to 2-2, we're going to 3-3, and then we're going to win the end because we have a really good King Bomb and Immortal combo.
Yeah, and Scoobert Doobert have just looked like on point. Nixus as well has been absolutely phenomenal on the Leon. I'm excited to see what he does on the Cassie. Assuming that will be what he plays. You know, we're not talking enough about Uber Spady and the potential to have brought that pip and that success. I'm curious to see how this Vivian and Zen work out. It's 2 picks that go, not clunk, but go experiment. They go, to me. And that could go either way, right? I mean, Blazing Hussars have to do something different, so I kind of like the attempt.
Vivian is, I mean, she's always in such this weird area where sometimes we see her and it's like the stars are shining. Yeah, the lights have come down. All the planets aligned. She's the perfect champion for this scenario. And then sometimes we see her and we're like, well, that happened.
That happened.
And in this map, this is actually one of the areas I think I saw the console players. I'm going to give them some credit for pulling it out in. We've also seen some of the Latin American teams, what was formerly Burrito, do it a lot here, where they don't play Vivian really like Vivian. They play Vivian like Skinny Ruckus.
Yeah, that's right. That is right. And we'll see if, you know, Camera Crew could play Ruckus like normal Ruckus. And Andrew Doodle, he's got a lot of experience playing at this high level. Graphias back on this Zen. And Nixus here on the Cassie with the blast shot. Uber Spady, though, he will take control of the King, who's getting a brand new dope skin coming up in, I believe, 2.03, which I'm pretty excited about. And we take a look at his loadout as well. Battle Pass?
The Battle Bite Battle Pass.
The Battle Bite Battle Pass.
Not enough bees for you?
Not enough
I'm pretty
bees.
sure it was Battle Bite Bomb King as well.
The Battle Bite Bomb King Battle Pass.
A lot of good.
And back-to-back patches.
Back-to-back patches. The King's new cloak coming through, but King's Court is really the one to look at. Not only does he have more health, but he's going to be healing for 75 every time he detonates a bomb. I actually had someone asking about this while I was streaming the other day. Because they were wondering, why is it that a lot of Bomb Kings throw detonate? And it's because of that reason right there. It's just confirmed damage. I know for a fact this is going to hit if I throw it right next to you. If I hit you with it, it doesn't really matter. If I hear that clunk, though, that audio cue that it's stuck to you, I might throw an extra shot. I might even throw 2 before I detonate. But he's getting 75 health, he's sustaining himself, and he's confirming his damage. Everything is lining up.
And Bomb King mechanics have changed quite a bit, too. And they've developed this enhanced style of play for a lot of players. Historically, the radius has been sometimes bigger, and it's been more effective to just get close to a player and detonate, because you know you're going to get a good amount of damage off of that. There was a moment, and we're not going to talk too much about it, but a Masters tournament that just was basically renamed the Bomb King tournament, and he just dominated. I mean, it was really just whoever got Bomb King won the game and the tournament. It was pretty wild, but he's had moments of that behavior being encouraged and then not so encouraged. But overall, you're right. It's the accuracy. It's the detonation. People are always moving, and it's a projectile that's relatively slow. But as a pretty big explosion radius. It's just not as effective to wait.
There's
unless you're playing chain reaction.
I want to say a lot of cards so chain reaction does the opposite, where it's like you want to sack up as much as you can, and there are a couple cards in his loadout that will also apply on that, but there's so many things that Bomb King has that are activated upon detonate. It doesn't necessarily matter how much you detonate. It's just whenever you detonate, you get this. Sometimes it's how many sticky bombs did you detonate. Now you have reload speed compared to that. Like, you get a lot. And again, for this, you're looking at the sustain. And so far, he's been able to hold his own. He has the King Bomb ready, and it's been doing its work. So far, Blazing Hussars have been in a bad spot pretty much the entire game. They're forced to Whirlwind already.
And now Graphies here in the back line, forced into the Billow, and that's going to open things up. A bit of maybe a defensive moment here coming through from Blazing Hussars, knowing they can't be that aggressive with this in. But in that moment, Scoobert Doobert will realize it's best that they be a little defensive too. Regroup. And maybe find some poke, get a pick before they try to push yet again. One of the bigger mistakes you'll see maybe in your games is that teams continue to dive one at a time and at a time. And what's so great about watching this level of play is they're so patient with grouping up S5 to take the best shot that they can at pushing this thing in.
And I also love seeing the small details, seeing them hide behind a corner, and you're thinking, man, they were so aggressive before. What are they waiting on?
Right.
And then you see that Yomi Zen strike fly through the doorway, and then immediately everyone piles out because they recognize we're not going to get hit by that damage. It's not confirmed. Like, it's those small things when you see Scoobert Doobert get aggressive that are buying them so much space and time. The way they're controlling this game is all on those small details.
Well, you can see how important they felt Ruckus and Zen were to the success of this team. There's a King Bomb. They hit the gas pedal the second that ended up going on, and they found a kill on Graphies. They hit a Dread Serpent onto Kamiker, and that just ended up opening so much for Nixus and the rest of the squad. Kamiker now trying to just buy some time on the back, but he's not able to defend. And Uberspady cleans up the last two. Scoobert Doobert in control yet again.
You know, we've mentioned a couple times today that Andrew Doodle was playing very notably in the Premier League for a long time.
Yep.
Uberspade did get his brief stint in there, and otherwise has been on teams that have not always been #1 in their region, but have always been able to have a really good performance. He is someone to be worried about. Zelda has been around in the scene for a long time. Nixus, as well as the rest of the team. Them coming together the way they have right now has just stopped Blazing Hussars. They don't know what to do. They put out the fire on top of the blade that is Blazing Hussars, and
they're just
when you're
Hussars
not blazing,
now.
you just don't have anything.
3, 2,
you know,
1.
I mean,
but a Hussar can still be deadly.
Probably. Hussar can still be deadly. Probably.
I would assume.
I would assume as well. I mean, I wouldn't count anybody with this huge Nerf axe like that. Or, I guess, am I just subconsciously saying the axe needs to be nerfed? Maybe that's what I'm saying. I don't know here. But Uberspady doesn't look afraid of any type of weapon that is being brought into the battle. Kamiker, though, he says, how about these mini rockets, mini guns? And the Whirlwind just in time to save Kamiker, but unfortunately put Surretts into the line of fire there. Andrew Doodle finding Uberspady in response, but it looks like Scoobert Doobert have the edge in this fight.
I mean, a lot of control. They separated Blazing Hussars literally right down the middle, 3 on one side, 2 on the other, and then picked up 2 on one side, 1 on the other. So there's 2 members left. You just kind of go pick up whoever you need to in the proper order. Another Dread Serpent coming through, buying some space, and you see the dash trying to come through and buy some overtime. But Scoobert Doobert shutting down Grover's win rate as of right now by continually finding him. And again, second to die in that fight. Always in the first 3. That's what's making the big difference.
Little min-max moment you just might have seen on the highlighted silhouettes of your screen. Zen uses his ultimate, gets caught out, uses the Billow, uses the Whirl, but waits before he uses his Spite, his ultimate there, just to get up and over the ledge and whirl away to safety. Sometimes it is not useful to try to use that ultimate to get a kill. You will get bursted down by the rest of the teammates, and sometimes you just got to use it for mobility. It does have its value, but a lot of times mobility will actually serve you better than you think with that Zen ult.
Alright, trying to hold everything he can on the side. And this is actually really good just because even though there's not a ton of damage, it's shield versus shield right there, it's distraction. Yeah. They're not looking at the payload. It's getting further and further along. It's about to come around this last corner, and you've bought so much space with only a minute and a half left on the clock. I mean, Scoobert Doobert are completely in control right here.
They really, really are. And I think at this point, Scoobert Doobert not trying to stop this momentum, keep this train rolling, on the tracks because they realize they are very close to being 2-0 in this set, this final set, best of 5, and that will put them with 1 game left to complete, but they're going to back off again. It's hard to be patient in moments like this. I see a lot of teams get overeager and a little bit too excited, and they maybe bite off more than they can chew, but Scoobert Doobert, I like the way that they're approaching this fight, just letting iRise just get healed up a little bit, letting him take this high ground without any pressure, letting Zelda get back and engage.
Immortal, King Bomb, and Dread Serpent now being used right there. They have ults ready to fire. And even though you're going to have that Hexafire come through, it's not going to find anywhere near as much. That Dome Shield doing nothing for them. And you can already see Grover low and in the back.
And you can see, too, that Grover, the way we saw that Grover being played earlier, has absolutely... It's been a mystery to see Blazing Hussars use it so differently, but it's really not that their fault. They just didn't win early. And that's the problem. If he cannot somehow take advantage of a Grover early, he is going to fall off rather quickly. So maybe balanced in that way, I would say. But, I mean, boy, oh boy. My casual teams definitely don't work as well as Scoobert Doobert does together.
Scoobert Doobert, I mean, they literally killed him off within the first couple every single fight. Like, they recognized, well, you were saying last game, kill Grover. When you see Grover, kill Grover.
That's the
That's
rule.
exactly what they did. Bomb King helped facilitate that a lot, but it was also the fact that I'm going to throw him under the bus. The Vivian was not doing well this game. Maeve did not do well last game. Right now, I'm not seeing as much from Andrew Doodle as we saw in the last set.
Yeah, it feels like he lost his gusto, his style, his swagger, so to speak, as far as how he was playing. He was so confident in that last game. And despite doing a decent amount of damage, the impact was something that we did not see. However, I am seeing just a ton of ease of approach to these fights by Uberspady and Nixus, Zelda, Rise, and Leers. I think at this point, these guys are looking like a threatening team. A threatening team that are looking potentially to be able to qualify next week for the PML officially. But there's still one more game that they need to win. And, of course, they're going to have to do it. We can't talk them into it. And I think Andrew Doodle shows up a little bit more and we see less experimentation. Get back to your roots. We saw in their first set, they got a lot of the better ends of these drafts. But boy, oh boy, they say Splitstone Quarry. We just went there. We just won a game there. Let's go back to maybe a comfort pick for us. We know what worked. I wonder if they'll go for the Pip style play.
I mean, this is, again, it's literally the exact same as the last set. There's a 4-0, 4-0. Last set was 4-1, 4-0. But you get to this third map, it's loser's pick, and Blazing Hussars are like, we need some time. Like, we just need to buy a little bit of time.
Hold on here, buddy.
This point capture takes a little longer than normal because the way the fight around it typically goes. The push takes a little longer than normal, so, like, we can buy minutes. And that's what we need. We just need 3 minutes of first, and then we get 4 minutes, and then we push it as long as we can go until hopefully we win this one, make it 2-1, and see what happens in Game 4 if we can kind of pull that back. But giving anything back to Scoobert Doobert in terms of control, whether it's a map pick or just the draft, it's a difficult game to play.
It definitely is. I think Blazing Hussars going back with the Grover, just like the Barrack, who we didn't like so much on Serpent Beach and the way that was being utilized. The Grover can find some more wiggle room to get around some of those pillars, hide in the cubby, still impact people with the large radius of his healing, and not be in the line of sight unless people overcommit towards him. And Grover, again, one of the best things about him is his range. He takes advantage of the range scaling on his weapon on the map like this, but also his Vine. He can go from low ground to high ground. Some of these DPS champions like Cassie just can't chase him if he does that.
And the glorious thing that we've seen in the past is something like a Zen being picked up here specifically to try and get to that high ground. But then it's, okay, you're using your ult for this. So that's the thing. Mobility on this map isn't necessarily key, but it sure as hell helps.
And you know, they go for this Pip here, and this is what we were talking about. Did they see something that worked on the side of Adam, and that strong competition they felt, the pressure Andrew Doodle felt in trying to get to this Pip and deal with it, that they're now trying to emulate themselves, and it looks to be the case. Leon also picked up towards the end, and Nixus, we know how successful he's been on that. I would assume they already know Nixus is already on the Cassie at this point, but look at this. We have Uberspady bringing out the classic Eevee, one of the champions he is most known for in this game, and so this will be fun to watch if he can get some success.
And if I had to give Eevee 2 maps, I would give her Serpent Beach, and I would give her Splitstone Quarry, because again, a lot of cover to get into the back line, and then she has the mobility. She has that height gap to be able to jump up, get to the back line, destroy whoever's there. The problem is that we saw that earlier. Androxus had that exact same ability on this same map. Pip was able to find the better end of that trade. More often than not, it didn't always go his way, but at the beginning of a round, that was typically the pickup So the question here is whether or not Blazing Hussars can take the play they saw earlier and adapt to it, emulate it as best they can right now, or if they maybe give it all up because Uber's Payday is an insane Eevee player.
Great Eevee player. And, you know, I've said it in my tier list that I did for Paladins to start out this 2.0 too, and I'll have to check things out in 2.03 as well with some good buffs and nerfs. But, you know, Eevee is a top-tier champion only, though, if you can play her that way. You know, ask Random Noob at the World Championships how good Eevee is, you know, or better yet, ask Na'Vi, because they found out. She is just incredible, but it is such a high skill ceiling to pull it off that a lot of times there are just better picks for the players who are going to be playing in that DPS role. Uberspady, though, definitely known for this champion. We'll see how he can make her work here on Splitstone Quarry.
We've seen some players make literal strides in terms of their games because of how good their Eevee is. I'm thinking of our Z-God.
Yep.
And we have seen some players pretty much lose because their Eevee just wasn't able to hit the mark. It happens pretty much perfectly polarized the way you would expect it to be. Graphies is going to be the one that gets first blood. So you're going to be looking towards this Eevee to be what we've been kind of looking at Andrew Doodle do the last couple games. You have to be able to stand out.
I mean, it's really done nothing at this point. I mean, I like the decision to take the high ground, but Blazing Hussars just outplayed this masterfully. They all just rotated, let her stay on that high ground, and then pushed in to Scoobert Doobert, knowing that the Eevee cannot pressure them this early in the game. There's just too much damage, too much healing. Eevee will get forced into her defensive options, but all the while, we see Blazing Hussars still threatening and still appreciating the fact that Scoobert Doobert aren't out of it yet. And look at that, Nixus finding a kill. Can the Inara get back, though? That's the question to be able to contest. It looks like she can, and is going to start capturing the point again.
And a lot of pressure onto Blazing Hussars. You lose Toot Toot, everyone's kind of falling back right into a corner or trying to fight it out. They do get rid of Uber's Payday. They finally collapse on this Eevee that is causing them distress from the back line.
Yeah.
But they give up a lot of ground to do it. What was a lead for them is now 96 to 84. They're going to have to maintain and fight back in order to reclaim this point.
96% here. Graphies, a nice kill. Ultimates, as you can see, starting to flow forward here for both teams. 2 minutes gone by, so relatively longer point fight, and there's a Solar Blessing. It'll do things like that. Uberspady, goes for the Ice Storm as well, but can't quite find the kill on the Graphies. There is a Seismic Crash, and there's an Evil Mojo. It's not going to find it. Rise, though, he's going to find himself a triple kill, and Uberspady is going to show up at the last minute and grab himself a double. That's a deicide onto Blazing Hussars, and Scoobert Doobert, you're going to grab that point.
I mean, ults left and right got thrown out towards the end there. I was the Seismic Crash from the Inara, the Inflame as well coming down from Furio, giving them that ability to push those fights to their limits. And they got just as much in return, I would say. I mean, being able to force Ashe to use Hurl, being able to force out an Evil Mojo very early on makes this push a lot easier to start off. It's going to make it a lot harder, though, towards the end. Ults will come back online. Kills will be in position. And heals will be maybe just a little bit too late. That sets things up for success for Blazing Hussars.
You know, it's like when someone jumps towards you, or like I just imagine somebody throwing you like a cup that's like a glass cup across the room, and it's just a little short, and you reach out, you try to grab it, but you know you can't, and then it just breaks on the floor. But that feeling right before you know you can't grab it and it's gonna break, I feel like that's what Solar Blessing Furias have just like owned as an experience. It's like, here it is, it's coming, no, and you're like, you see that health just slowly, and then it goes right before you're able to give them that full heal and that safety. It's not the easiest life, I would say, but I commend you all who do it. Not me.
Constantly fighting on that edge of, I don't need to throw it out right now, but I need to hit you within the next 3 seconds. Or, even worse, that feeling when you're just like, I need to heal you, but 2 seconds. I literally can't do anything for you. And that is, I think, the worst, especially because when you're not running things like Cherish.
Yeah.
Your right-click heal is enough for any generic DPS. You throw it out there. You know, like, Eevee needs a heal, bam, I can pop you up to 1,800, no problem.
Yep.
Inara, 5,000 is a lot more of a difficult number to hit.
Yeah, it's not enough, you know. It's like kids when they're really young and they're like, $5? Wow, like $20, you know, and then
$20 is like $1 million to a kid.
Yeah, and then, you know, they're like going to college and you're like, how much is tuition? Like, listen, I got I got $20. Is that gonna help? It's a totally different ball game that they're in terms of the value of money. They're appreciating it. Same goes for tanks and DPS with the value of healing they need.
When it's there, you don't notice it. You're like, man, this is great. Everything's flourishing.
I'm having the best
minute
game.
It disappears, it is the worst case scenario for you. It's the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm going to even push it further. As a frontline, when you're a Nara, it's the difference of like, man, I've been standing on this point, taking so much damage like it's nothing. I'm shrugging them off. I'm a literal god among these champions.
A goddess, right?
And then like the healing disappears for a second and you just die.
Yeah. It can make an Inara player feel some type of way. I will agree with that, man. When Inara's getting that nice pocket heal, you know, whether it's a Solar Blessing Fury, whether it's a Mending Spirits Maldamba, who's got that gourd, who's got the Mending Spirits on cooldown with a 35% Swift Spirits in that loadout. Just, you feel fast, you feel strong. You're like, man, Inara is busted, man. I'm telling you guys. And then you don't get that healer anymore. You don't get that duo Q, and you're like, what's going on? I need heals. That's where we get the VH. You know why people spam need healing? It's because they've had the experience of having healing, and now they don't have it the same way. That nothing will ever live up to that moment where they were getting fully pocket healed. And every healer that doesn't reach up to that just forces them to spam need healing. We need to stop.
You know, a lot of people
we need to stop this.
Have their opinions about like taunt lines.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
My opinion is no longer, it's not with hot lines. I do not like the minute someone says need healing and I'm playing a healer,
I never heal them. Yeah.
I mute them. I might heal them.
I think everyone does
But I'm
that.
less inclined to because it's just like, man, don't tell me, like, I'm not telling you, hey, we need damage, we need kills.
Oh, you need healing,
Don't tell
huh?
me how to do
oh,
my
you
job.
need some healing. Okay. All right, we'll see how much healing you get in this fight. Good luck, buddy. Yeah, no. Well, tangents aside, there is a game being played. I'm sure you all realize that as well. We did too, but, you know, it was a split stone quarry push. Come on, guys. We know how that's going to go. We haven't seen one happen today. That's our fourth or fifth one. Seems like 18% and counting here for Scoobert Doobert, 54% for Blazing Hussars. But the problem is Blazing Hussars are melting, and Zelda has something to do with that. That nice pocket heal onto the Inara, feeling good for him as Scoobert Doobert controlling the objective yet again. Uber Spady having the ability to kind of zone people out. Graphies has to find an answer here. He goes for the blink. They know she doesn't have it for just a moment, but they don't get her to her in time, so now the blinks will continue.
A nice Hexify from up above. That's going to be able to get Surrettes. That's really all you need out of it, but you're also finding a ton of damage, mostly into the shield, but a little bit onto Toot Toot himself, and that's going to result in a couple of kills right there. Blazing Hussars have 2 members left, and while one of them can be game-changing at times, there's no Evil Mojo, there's not a lot of damage up, and not a lot of healing up. And that is going to be Rise finding 2, and also the point.
I like the attempt, though. Anjudo gets in there, tries to find the backline healer, or maybe Uber Spady blinking back to his original location with the Enlightenment, and obviously buy some time. Maybe that would have shifted things, but it did seem unlikely. It was just too good of an ultimate. And Scoobert Doobert have really played leagues above Blazing Hussars here, which is crazy to see how Blazing Hussars, you know, may be caught off guard with how successful they were earlier, not only on this map, but, well, let me take that back. They actually were not successful in the first couple of games on this, first couple of points. So, you know, starting to see that although they figured it out, it was a 4-3 win. Maybe Blazing Hussars just, I mean, this might not have been the strongest map choice for them.
Yeah. Maybe this map is just their long haul. They're waiting until the very end to kind of come back, sweep it away.
Yeah, they're long play.
Not a very sound strategy, but, you know, sometimes it does work out. Although I think at this point it is very much we saw something that worked earlier.
Yeah.
We're going to try to make it work for ourselves. Unfortunately, the double healer here is not providing quite as much, and I'm wondering if it's because what we saw earlier was a double support onto a Ruckus Inara instead of a double support onto an Ashe Barrack. Like, the differences in front lines will affect where that healing and how effective that healing is.
Absolutely, and I think that is that's something to keep in mind as we head towards the later part of this game. Rise almost getting taken down there as he misses his first advance, but gathers himself, gets it back together. Nice shot there from Graphies to apply some pressure and force back Nixus, who has the Inflame. And that 30% movement speed and bonus damage, which Cassie needs absolutely none of to be successful. So that's something to be scared of.
Inflame making the best even better. But right now, I mean, Blazing Hussars, 2 members are dead. And now you're finally going to have someone else. Like, they're letting this payload get incredibly close without doing anything. Now the aggression's going to come out, but the shot, Surrett's going to be able to save his teammate just in time. Graffies goes down, but there is a whirlwind to keep them in the fight.
A very good aggressive attempt, but it was just he tried. What's happening is that you're going against such good high players that Uber Spady is predicting what they're going to do, but they're predicting what he's going to do, and not quite falling for it. You know, you would have maybe expected an enlightenment out of Andrew Doodle there immediately, and that's what the ice block was baiting out. But Andrew just waits, and then he actually calls for some support, and gets that axe from Grover to help finish things off from Surrett's. But here's the Hexifier that really helped to secure this objective fight for Scoobert Doobert.
A lot of things for Blazing Hussars that just, they're not coming together. When it's on the point fight, it feels like the healing isn't quite all there.
Yeah.
And very much like last game, Scoobert Doobert are focusing down Surrett's the minute they get the opportunity. Surrett's is just not able to survive as long. Kamaker not being able to see, I want to say, as many resets out of a barrack as you typically expect when they're doing well. And Toot Toot, while he gets aggressive, while he does find these kills, is not playing someone known for being spectacular on the point. They don't survive. Ash is not someone who survives long on the point. Ash is someone who will fight on the point and either win that fight and then she can survive there, or she loses that fight and she's gone.
Yep. 9% here for Scoobert Doobert already. They need to get the Structus off the high ground. This has just been such an issue for them, and they've been taking advantage of these little moments, and I like this lesson if you can learn it right now. Sometimes the solo ult on a big AoE like a Nara's Seismic Crash is the best decision, because you need just one kill, then you can turn it in your favor and turn that one kill into a 5v4, which turns into multiple more kills. You don't have to stun 5 people to use your Seismic Crash.
It does look really cool when you manage to pull
it does look cool.
Yeah,
I will say that.
I will fully agree. Sometimes just getting that one kill early on, setting yourself aside. There's going to be the ice block bait. No enlightenment for you today, at least not right now. The damage is still there, though. Andrew Doodle finding so much. Zelda going to be able to pick him off towards the very end. Shields are coming up. Healing's coming out. And if Toot Toot goes down, that could end up spelling it all. And they get him in the ult as well.
Unbelievable. Great plays, and you know what? You feel for Andrew Doodle there, who is so patient, reads Uber Spady once, but Uber Spady says, listen, man, I know that when you're low, you're going to use your enlightenment. I just know it's going to happen. And he saves that ice block for that moment. So it was a great read. He knew the blink was coming back, but unfortunately, he could do absolutely nothing about the ice block being on cooldown. He tried to take a bet and hedge his odds and say, you know what? I'm just hoping it's not, and I'll track him and take him down, but it was, and therefore Scoobert Doobert again 3-2 here. You know, welcome to Splitstone Quarry. You may just be a new viewer, but this is what happens on this map. It's why teams go here, because you could be really losing this set, losing this game, but you don't have to lose quickly, and you give so many opportunities to like, figure it out mid-round. Until the next objective fight.
And that goes back, again, what I was saying at the kind of when we went into the map last set, when we went into the map today, you're buying minutes. You're just giving yourself a couple more minutes to think, what's going on? What do we need to do? How do we fix this?
Yeah.
And sometimes it works for the rest of the sets. We've seen teams go 2-0, down 2-0, and win 3-4-5.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it gives you this game. You find a good way for this game right now. It's not giving Blazing Hussars too much. Every single defense has been bought, but kind of towards the tail end, it's never a guaranteed success for them.
And I think what I struggle with from seeing this as a legitimate strategy for a lot of teams rather than just a buying the new ice mine, so to speak, to buy time, is I don't see a lot of strength of direction. I think if I see Envy or Navi pick something up like this, I say they have a legit strategy they are trying to pull off. And I see a lot of teams just, you know, they're picking certain champions, and it's creating in the very mulled sense of success here. But you never know, because right now it's looking like Scoobert Doobert are about to push this thing in. Can they do it? Toot Toot is there. He cannot leave the ground, though. But here is Surrett's. He finds a beautiful heal just in time. And actually, Lears looks like he could go down. Who is going to pressure this out? It is on the verge of turning into a finished game, a 3-0, but they take down Lears. Andrew Doodle, Graffies just barely able to hold on. Oh, man, that was close. Scoobert Doobert almost had the game right there.
They squeaked out what they can. That payload was so close. With 5 seconds left, I mean, you're lucky if you can even touch it down in this kind of a circumstance.
I don't think they can.
Yeah. I was going to say, if he's even able to get somewhat close, even Eevee, if you could get somewhat close to that payload, it's impressive. That was well played. Blazing Hussars being able to find those kills at the right moment. Leers was in the perfect position to get taken out as well because a lot of damage flew the way of the Furia. He ducks into cover, but he has 50 health. He can't show his face again, but you can't do your healing. All of a sudden, you're not able to get your cooldown reset on your beam. You can't get any right-click heals off. You are stuck in this position of, I'm just patiently waiting for the solar beam to go down, or I have to poke out.
And that's why Veteran's the best item in the game. I'm just kidding.
There you go.
I'm just kidding.
Here first.
You heard it here for the hot take. Dude, Paladins doesn't have a lot of hot takes anymore. But man, that'd be a hot take.
Veteran, the best item in the game.
Veteran better than Cauterize. Veteran better than Haven. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around better than Cauterize, that anything could ever take that kind of...
Please know I'm joking, everybody.
Whew.
Well, Hammaker here firing on. I'm assuming this point fight's going to have many layers to it, and that's what you should as well. Because of the Solar Blessing, because of the tankiness of these kind of front lines and supports, the Inflame comes out, but so does the Dome Shield, so does the heal. Beautiful stuff from Uber Spady. Hammaker's got to hit a big shot or be left and found wanting, but no, it was Uber Spady who was found wanting in the end, and wanting of some more life, some more time to play on the objective. Zelda seems to have enough for everybody, though.
A little bit of good healing, but a lot of good shots. It might be 99 to 15, but Scoobert Doobert have been completely reset. They have no one really in a good position to try and come back. This is going to take a lot of effort to displace it. And Eevee, again, known for being able to pick off people maybe on the kind of fringe of the fight, not perfect at getting rid of people on the point unless you happen to have a really solid ult and some really solid follow-up. That's going to be a beautiful stun. If they can get rid of Graf, yes, it's going to open up a lot, but he's already healing, and there's the Whirlwind as well.
Yeah, he got the heal. That's what really turned this around. He got the Moxie heal off. They could not get a heal there during this one, and it looks like, man, Scoobert Doobert counted their chickens before they hatched. Blazing Hussars going to keep this one going as they find themselves a dub after what was a very long game on Splitstone Quarry. This set will continue, so Blazing Hussars not quite out for the count.
I mean, doing exactly what you would kind of expect, especially if you saw the last one. They get down to the point 3-3. It's not looking successful for them, but you only need to win 1 point fight at that point, and it's the very end. And it's that retake. Just Barrick staying alive. Barrick finding that final shot onto Eevee instead of getting taken down himself when he was at 900 health. If that goes the other way, this fight does not go the way of Blazing Hussars, but they found the control they needed.
You know, if I'm Blazing Hussars, you have that moment where they're about to push it in, you save it, and you get this last point, you get a win. I don't feel very confident heading into this next map, especially now that it's not our pick. You know, we did our Splitstone Quarry thing, but the thing about that is you can only do it once. And that's where it balances out, you know. You can only do it once before now you're 1 game away from losing, and then the team that is in that advantage has their map pick. Now, if they can take them on Frozen Guard, that would really spell a set for us, wouldn't it? We get a first best of 5 here of the day, and we'd see 2 teams finding rhythms in 2 different moments in this finals. But Frozen Guard will be the map pick, the map selection, and we'll see who gets banned. First off, it is the Cassie from Scoobert Doobert trying to take that out of the hands of Nixus. Of Andrew Doodle, actually.
I mean, very much different, I want to say, from what we've seen in the last few maps. Frozen Guard has a different kind of point fight, a different approach to it, because defending on this map, it's really easy when you get a certain kind of composition, but that composition doesn't always win those point fights, and vice versa. Things that work on the point don't always work for the defense, and Nara is always going to be a solid pickup for anybody. But Bomb King was the one that I wanted my eyes on. He made it through once again, and even though this map, I want to say it's a little back and forth with whether Bomb King is successful.
Right.
I think Blazing Hussars can pull it off.
Yeah, I think BK can work really well, especially with the Grover. I mean, this is a nice mid-range combination that also, with Grover, can excel long-range and up close. It's just Bomb King lacks that level of pressure that I think from a range Leon can provide. So from a damage perspective, they are counting a lot on their support to really hold those angles if the defense is something they find themselves on quite often.
You get the Barrick, you get the Ruckus, you get the Grover. The one thing they're lacking, I'm gonna say, is probably someone who's solidified on the point, but with the way, again, pillars around the point capture, make it a little bit easier for Ruckus Barrack to kind of dash in, dash out, keep themselves safe as long as they can get away. Leon will chase you down. Zen absolutely will chase you down, so you have a lot more to work against, I think.
I mean, there's a lot of big, healthy targets to go after. The thing is that they have with the Inara and that they have with the Ashe is that they've got all the big shield AoE blocking kind of things. I mean, Atlas isn't in the game yet. Maybe when his wall that covers half the map comes through, Zen won't be as effective. But because Zen with Yomi is going onto a barrack, once that barricade falls down, every single person is susceptible to getting part of that 850 Yomi swing. And that could be deadly on a map like Frozen Guard.
You know, I haven't gotten to ask, which do you think is better? Wall that covers
whole
divides
map,
the map,
whole map
or
wall?
AoE that rewinds potentially the entire team?
You know, it's a hard question, Goran. They both sound pretty good.
It's gonna come down to the players. Atlas, if you missed that, guys, you can go back, watch the VOD. He looks really cool, but competitively, I think he's going to be interesting to watch, to say the least.
Will we watch him? Will he just be banned? I don't know.
Banned. My money's on banned for the first
being banned
month and a half.
For about 8 years. Then he'll get nerfed and then never play because he's not good enough, you know.
Speaking of nerf, Makoa made it on that list.
He did.
Haven't
maybe
seen
some
his
luck.
name.
It's hard to see. You know, I think people may be transitioning away. Makoa's been available in all these games as well. I think there's been some news, you know, circulating in our pro scene that Makoa is just not as threatening as he used to be, even with the current Leviathan right now, because that's what they're playing with. Leviathan is available, you know, right now as it stands, but you know, maybe not the same. Maybe it's time for Pluck Makoa to come back. You know, that burst, people always underestimate it, but I think it might be time. Might be time to come back into the fray.
Looking for any kind of bonus damage you can right now. It's going to be a lot of damage. Graphies goes down. This time he's the one on the Vivian. Andrew Doodle rocking the Bomb King, something
aggressive.
We are used to seeing, and he's in their face doing a lot of damage. And I want to say kind of single-handedly right now keeping his team in the fight.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of min-maxing he's got to do here. It's not the easiest fight to take because he's had to go from his being in the back line into now his back line back to safety. But Nixus, meanwhile, just staying near these tanky front lines, getting healed, and he's got a double kill. And now, really, you know, they won the battle, but the war looks to be going the way of Scoobert Doobert here.
Everything that you would need. Attrition, I guess, the way things go. Who can hold out the longest? Nixus is going to be able to survive a lot. These shots not quite hitting, coming down from his presence. But, I mean, even when he's not hitting those, he's still getting a ton of damage down. Those headshots, every time you hear that ring, is going to be big. And then moments like this are where you start to see Eminence come into play.
Yeah, and I think right now he's just got great angles. He's going for Andrew Doodle. A lot of damage, though. I mean, he almost goes down. Thank God to the Maldamba here. And Nixus knows the Enlighten was going to be ready. And you know what? Let's be fair. Wouldn't have gotten the kill anyways. Andrew Doodle had a nice juke, but yeah, it still was too much health. This man has 2450. That would have only been 1600. And so he still would have most likely gotten the kill. But good effort across both teams. It seems like there's still a little bit of time, though. And, you know, you've got a Zen on the side of Scoobert Doobert. And we talk about his damage, but sometimes it's his delay ability. Like here, he's going to touch the point in the billow completely safe. He's got a counter available. He's going to block that off. He cannot get the whirl, but he has at least caused some time to be given to Scoobert Doobert.
King Bomb going immediately for the back line. He's going to be able to get rid of one. Wow, looking for two. Andrew Doodle making the play of the game right there, at least in terms of delaying this for Scoobert Doobert. They get another kill, and now they're just playing the waiting game until they can kill off Ash.
Wonderful stuff. You see why this guy was in the Pro League. You see why he's such a fun person to watch. Andrew Doodle had really made a name for himself on a lot of these blasters, most importantly the Drogos and the Bomb King. And so you're seeing him in his complete comfort zone here, and it's good to see that in the final fight. You're seeing Nixus on his comfort zone in the Leon as well, who he had such a great performance on with Brightmarsh. So two teams going toe-to-toe, and the first point in this matchup on Frozen Guard goes the way of Blazing Hussars.
And one of the things I glanced over because the point fight was more pressing was the fact that it's so difficult to get a Leon to miss her ult. That projectile's so big, so that one fight,
jukes.
Even if it doesn't go exactly the way you would have expected, even if you hit that ult, that is just a big, another nod, I guess, just to Andrew Doodle, how well he is playing right here and how much this Bomb King is making a big difference for them. Blazing Hussars, that last map, even though it went long, has breathed some life into them.
Yeah, and it's really Uber Spady that is gonna need to show up. I mean, really, Nixus and BK have been fighting this whole time, but you gotta say Uber Spady, it's the first time I've seen him actively fight Andrew Doodle. And if they just apply a little bit of pressure together, Zin's so mobile, he's so consistently relevant in fights because of the fact that he can just kind of not die if he doesn't want to. It should be more pressure being applied to what is the linchpin here of this victory, Andrew Doodle.
There we're going to be able to see this time an ult connecting, retains 50% there for Nixus, so he's going to be able to get that up a little bit more often. But no one was really expecting the side Bomb King. Uber Spade going to have to use his ult to kill him off, but does get the kill. And that is going to be what looks like potentially a full stall. Graphies doing whatever he can, saying, kill me, please. Reset my timer with my team. And Scoobert Doobert looked down on him and said,
no. You want to end it yourself. I don't have the
We shall do
authority.
you no such favors.
We shall do you no such favors. Live with your crimes. Woo. Watching a little bit of True Detective last night. Kind of got me started role-playing there. All right. 18 seconds left. Oh, man, that's what I'm talking about. That Yomi strike. Just feels good. You hit that. About 2,400 damage for one swing. Talk about being efficient. Talk about residual income. My man Zen ahead of the game in 2019. Nice slide as well from Nixus to stay on board. Jumps a little too far. And now is going to look for an enlightenment as well. Again, good jukes from Andrew Doodle. Or maybe Nixus is out juking himself. I'm not quite sure. At least finds the kill. So he'll retain 50% on his ultimate.
Being able to find whatever they can. The healing so far so good, but I'm going to give a lot of credit to the fact that, again, this is a very defensible base. You have the high ground. You're holding everything they need. They can't look up to you as easily as they are because attention's divided. Do you focus on the Leon? Or do you focus on the Zen? Do you focus on the Anar? Like, where are you supposed to look? There's so many calls that you just can't make, and holding this ult is one of those calls that you don't typically get to see players make. Usually, he starts rolling, he pops out on an R. That's the first thing he does. Fight still probably helps go their way, but not anywhere near as easily as if you kill the healer.
Well, what's interesting, too, is that I feel like there were two things that went down there for sure. Lears either didn't have his cooldown on the Slither, and that's what Andrew Doodle heard, and he went straight for him, which is probably the most likely version. The other is that the Dread Serpent was what Lears was paying attention to, and he needed to actively detonate that. So pressing E to actively detonate your Dread Serpent, because if it goes max distance, it's not going to hit any of those people most likely. Pressing E stopped him from being able to slither in time and CC immune, damage immune that King Bomb ult. So it might have just been the fact that he got caught out trying to do two things at once, and then took the ultimate L of dying.
Stunned out right now, but not going to be enough to find any of the kills.
629,
that was the hit that you needed. Uber Spade getting aggressive, and now that's going to cause a lot more trouble for Blazing Hussars, and that was the read. That's the change they needed for the fight.
Yeah, and you know what? It still is now resulting in one of them being successful and the other not. Uber Spady finds the kill. Nixus goes down because of the rotation. So it's what they need, but they need the thing they got in the first round, too, which is Nixus having that type of pressure. Andrew Doodle's taking either one of them, but not both of them. And if I think they combine that, just a little bit of poke, maybe it's positioning here, they're going to be much better off. But Blazing Hussars doing a great job of holding down these angles. Vivian, pretty much the victor with vision, allows them to see that left side cubby, know if anybody's coming through, and make it predictable as to where they need to focus their sights.
Shots from Nixus are going to be pretty much on point, but again, you're looking for a defense. Now you're going to end up falling back probably a lot harder. You're still trying to find these kills, but Uber Spade is causing a lot more trouble, I think, for you than anything else. I mean, he's just been so threatening on this Bomb King that I don't think anybody who can feel confident taking the 1v1, even a Zen who has as survival as he is, there's so much burst in a Bomb King that he can just wait you out. He can typically find that kill. It's going to take maybe two members collapsing on him.
There's a lot of respect, I think, and that's important. But you sometimes you just have to play the game. You just can't give too much respect. You have to go up and fight them. And you know it sucks, but if you get the first shot onto them, there's a lot of chances where a good player will lose to a lesser player just because they, maybe now they have half health. Maybe you've got the first shot. Maybe you're just in a better position. You have high ground, or you've got a teammate supporting you. All those things are factors you have to take advantage of. It's strategy is just as important and positioning as hitting your shots in a game like Paladins.
You end up with considerably less time to react, and that's usually what can cause you a lot more trouble. And Andrew Doodle right now going to be able to get rid of Rise and is setting themselves up. I mean, Bomb King is probably, again, I said this during Picks and Bans, but he can change a game if you have someone who is playing him well. And right now, Andrew Doodle is playing that exactly to the T he needs to. He even hits Nixus right over his head.
Man, oh man, and that is the time you stick those 2 bombs. You know, 1, 2, and that's going to finish off the Damba. He's standing still. He's stunned. Nothing ado about it. My goodness gracious. Rampage indeed. Andrew Doodle spraying on him. Blazing Hussars, 3-1. Very close to tying this set up.
And exactly what they need for this game, right? You get a little bit of breath of air, breath of fresh air coming into this. You're finally like, okay, we want a map. We can keep ourselves alive. We're afloat right now, but can we swim? Right now, they're starting to swim. They haven't hit full stride yet, and that's when they can win this game, if they can win this game. Comeback mechanic, though, for Scoobert Doobert is going to make sure that things are a lot more difficult. No Dread Serpent, but you have so much, I want to say, like, immunity frames. A lot of times, a lot of ability to stay alive through a fight and just buy yourself a little bit of time. Reposition, rethink, and reapply. Coming down from Xin, coming down from Leon, coming down from your Ashe. A lot of time to be bought.
And we'll see what they do to adjust here, because it's clear there is an outlier. Yes, it's the Grover. Yes, he's got that early game start, but it's also the way this Bomb King has been approaching these fights. Nixus has no chance to respond. I mean, unbelievable. It's just clinical. It's masterful at this point. I don't even see a chance here. So somebody show me on the side of Scoobert Doobert. It's a full reset. This is on purpose. That was as dominating of a fight as it looked, but it also was them saying, guys, there's no way we're going to win this way. We have to hope that we can just get a touch on the objective, but a good zone here will certainly stop that. This is the type of pressure you need, though. Make Toot Toot feel a little scared, maybe get some damage on, open up one of these channels, and it does look like they're going to at least have the Zen. The Zen can touch, and this could be the most dangerous time to retake if a team defends here, because they don't think that they're able to fight, but they've got a player having to be on the objective to try to capture to get 99, and now they're 5v4 somewhere else, and Nixus takes it just like that. It is a full wipe. And man, oh man, dangerous situation for Blazing Hussars now.
And that was just perfect use of ults in the right time, right? Ashe goes in, and it's exactly what you say. We know not only does someone have to stand on this point, but it's going to be a 4v fight somewhere else. So let's put someone who will literally not take damage for the next few seconds to give us some time, and we can reapply. Blazing Hussars, even though they know Ashe, okay, we can't look at her, we can't fight her, there's nothing to do here. Okay, let's push a little further. Let's try to fight a little further past the Ashe. Ruckus dives too deep. Leon takes care of him, bops his shields like it's nothing. And it's those moments. Then you turn it into a 4v4. Then it's a 5v4 because Ashe is right back into it.
There it is. I mean, it's just about taking advantage of numbers. You know what I mean? You have to put yourself in a position.
Quick maths.
Quick maths, you know? Create those 2v1s and those 2v1s. If you win 2v1s, but you lose 3v2, you still basically win 66% of the fight, right? You win the both battles, and you ultimately take the prize at the end of the day. So it's not about never losing. It's about making sure that you have your odds where you want them to be so that you can ultimately win that final fight. And it's a good lesson in tactics. It's a good lesson in execution. It's just a good lesson in strategy as well that we're seeing on display here in this game.
Normally, for a team that has won every point fight so far, except for this last one, this is the point where, okay, well, now you're defending. Everything's kind of switch-footed on you. You're going to be kind of taking steps backwards. You're not sure what pace to expect. And this is where you can see Scoobert Doobert pushing it, finding themselves a conversion. Unfortunately for them, it's not the kind of scenario you typically see yourself in, because this will only tie it up to 3-3. They're still going to be in an unfortunate spot, even if they can get this. But right now, they are playing out of their minds. That last shot not going to hit from Nixus, but everything else going exactly the way they would want. Yeah,
what's so great about the way Nixus is holding this corner is he's finding all his damage. I mean, his presence is hit every single time. He's found pressure onto Surets, which has been pushing all of them back, and you realize you get that damage onto the healer as a damage player. It's so pivotal because the healer now has to focus on staying alive, and he can't focus on keeping other people alive. You force ults. Look at that Yomi swing as well. So much value from Uber Spady. Doesn't have his ultimate yet, but a whirlwind looks like it's going to have to happen unless they want to just give this up, and honestly, it may be the better choice here.
I mean, honestly, maybe hold out, see if you can get them to burn a couple more ults, but honestly, you are having to dump whatever you can into this. Zelda finally going to get taken down there. Scoobert Doobert delayed. Question is it going to be enough? I mean, 9 seconds left. This is a very difficult map to get back. I see a defense in the future here for Blazing Hussars.
I see it too.
But the question is if they can still hold on the victory. They're still only 1 point away.
I mean, I think it is a good question. Can they hold on to the victory here? But can they? You know, in my opinion, there's this very precarious spot of 2-3 where you have a little bit lesser of that comeback mechanic, but you feel like, you know, the game is about to be won by us. But when you get that 2-3 and you get the advantage at the 2-3 still from the team at 2, you can then capture and push to win. Blazing Hussars weren't threatened to be losing at that last one, which is why they saved ults, no pressure, you know, they felt good. But if they lose this capture point, they could lose on this push and have no chance until the next round to be able to contest.
Honestly, you lose this capture point, you might be looking at the end of the game going towards the other team as well.
Absolutely.
Because 3-2 is a dangerous scenario. Because much like you said, you're kind of already in that mindset of like, you know what, we only need one to win. Like, if we lose, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, except for the fact that the push right afterward. If they get the push under control, it can mean a lot. But right now, King Bomb's looking to try and spell the beginning of the fight. Nixus is the target, and Nixus is going to go down.
Wow, good stuff, but is that enough? He doesn't get the support, which he's gotten several times before, and that's been the key here because they have 2 front lines who can essentially take the place of a DPS if they are that aggressive. But yes, Andrew Doodle finds what he needs. If he can clean up Uber Spady, he can't. That will be the difference maker for sure, but Uber Spady's going to stay alive, and the Zen alive means so much more for this team. The pressure he's going to build. 3-2 here, 90% for Blazing Hussars, but Zelda stops on the objective, and now overtime will be ticked away. It is do or die here for Scoobert Doobert. Otherwise, they're going to be facing a best of 5 in just a minute.
A lot of pressure, 99% to 20. They're still fighting around. They're being able to hold on. IRA's doing whatever he can. Has his ult available.
He
does
doesn't
not get
use
it off,
it?
though.
What?
And now that's going to be spelling a lot more trouble. But Uber's Payday doing whatever he can in the side to try and keep this going.
And this is important because they know they don't need it. They know they've won the fight. They've gotten the kill on the Graphies. And now, because Grover has to run, they've gotten the kill onto Toot Toot. 58%. They are backing off. But they still have to hold. This fight is not over, not in the least, but Rise, he now has his ultimate. He is not going to die with it in his hands if he feels he needs it, and there it is. It's already been captured. Scoobert Doobert now have a chance to push and win. The ultimate's been used, and the Whirlwind has been forced just not to be stunned, but the pressure seems to have already shifted towards Scoobert.
And unfortunately, you're in this position. King Bomb just came back. You're fighting with your heart, your soul, everything out. But really, you're just buying time. You're just trying to make sure that that 2 minutes that is left up at the top does not get turned into a conversion. Andrew Doodle goes down. A lot expended towards the end of that. But unfortunately, for Blazing Hussars and any Blazing Hussars fans, it does go the way of Scoobert Doobert, who right now are in control and leading, I want to say, in terms of the ults that are going to be pretty useful at pushing in this payload.
And a full wipe there happens no matter what. You could have defended and held here even if the Grover did not use that ultimate, but you could tell that Surretz thought maybe it would have saved the point, maybe it would have kept him alive, bought that time. It was right at the edge of the capture. And there it is, opportunity and chaos, giving Vivian that extra 20% bonus damage as long as she stays firing after 2 seconds of initially firing. It's a very costly thing to do, but for Vivian, she can make it work, and that's where she's been finding her success. But Graphies, as well as Andrew Doodle, have started to feel the ire of some of this Yomi Zen pressure, and Toot Toot looks to be really low. He could go down soon, and Surretz just barely getting to him with the passive is going to heal him back up, but it's a full commit, and they've opened up this left side.
And Zelda's doing so much in terms of just distraction factor. This payload's been moving forward while they're just dumping damage into him. Vivian has popped her Sentinels. If you see her die, those are going to disappear along with her. And that's assuming they even survive that long. As of right now, the damage is flying towards them. The shots are good. Andrew Doodle does stay alive, but only for a second.
And Nixus has left his teammates with the best possible chance to win. It's literally just a Vivian and Kamaker on that Ruckus, who does not have the sustain to deal with this pressure from Yomi. It's really now going to be a fight that's uphill for Blazing Hussars. It could be the end of the set here. And look, there's the ultimate. He's going to use it one swing, and 2k damage is going to finish off Vivian. Andrew Doodle's got the better end of Uber Spady all game, but not this time. Nixus saves the day, and Toot Toot looks like he might just have to toot his way back home as Scoobert Doobert are in the driver's seat. They win the set, and they move on with the highest seed in Europe.
It's that super unfortunate position of like, we're at 99, we don't need to fight this, back off. And then, like you said, there's half a comeback mechanic, right? And when I play, and I don't know how this translates for Blazing Stars, but it's a lot harder to feel the half comeback mechanic. You think you have a little bit more time than you do. And you could
really do.
Blazing Stars didn't quite engage in time. They were just a second too late to grab that 99, and it was just because of that small tick.
And the issue is when the comeback mechanic's there, you feel like you can't give that team the same ability to like sit, zone, and then come back and have a chance to do it because they don't have the Zen. They don't have those characters that can just have that complete immunity. And so that was really one of the best parts about it. You saw the draft start to really work out for them on Frozen Guard. And Scoobert Doobert, they take the W. Congratulations to them. Great games all around. Very contested last 2 games in this set, but that's what you expect from a final as Uberspady and Nixus and Rise all get over 100K for their squads respectively. Andrew Doodle still taking top damage here, though.
I mean, being able to do a ton, too. That entire game worked out really well. I'm still personally on the fence about the Vivian, although I think it did what they were trying to accomplish there.
Yeah.
I just think that there were maybe some other places for that to work out, but it did not end up going the way of Blazing Hussars, unfortunately for them, but they do still get to find themselves playing next week.
Well, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, ladies and gentlemen. We've still got more PML action coming up, though, so don't go anywhere. Maybe grab a snack, but keep us on because we'll be going to the North American side of things to do exactly what we just did for Europe. So half the day is done, half the day more to come. We'll see you back in 5 here on the channel.